All right.
You ready for me?
Sure.
Cool. All right. Let's get you by starting with introducing yourself.
Hello, I am Nathan Belmont, official. Not the scammer one that you might have seen on one of the Facebook pages, but the real one. And what's up, Jimmy?
What up? What up? So some people go by different glass names. You chose to go by your actual name. Why did you choose that?
Because I figured if I ever did get scammed in the future and I lost my Instagram or any of my my social medias, then no one would know who the hell I am. So that's literally why. And I couldn't think of anything really creative or fun at the time. I had a bunch of funky names, but they were just like, you know, like the kind of handles you'd use on like a video game chat, you know, alias or something like that. So,
What was the other favorite?
well, it used to be just my initials, which was really stupid because it wasn't even a word, just N Belm. So I had people like introducing me in certain, certain instances. This is N Belm. And I'm like, that's not a word, and that doesn't sound good either. So, yeah, I just decided to change it back to Nathan Belmont. I'm actually want to make the big move and change it to Nate Belmont. Even though there's a lot of Nates in the glass biz, kind of makes more sense.
Yeah.
I get a lot of people approaching me. Do you mind if I call you Nate? And I'm like, I mean, I prefer it. So
Okay.
Nathan's a little formal. It's like something my mom calls me mostly. So
Yeah.
yeah,
When you got in trouble, kind of thing.
yeah.
Sure. What's the first thing you made in glass?
Um, a sea turtle. Yeah, yeah. A little sculptural sea turtle. It wasn't a functional piece or anything. It was just a little paperweight, about that big. I had some help with it, so it actually didn't make it completely on my own. I had Jupiter, who was one of my Jupiter Nielsen, one of my mentors. He uh, he helped me along and kind of he would grab the piece from time, a couple times and like he finished it off. He took it off the handle because just so I would have something after. But I did most of the sculpting myself, and that one came out nice. And then I did a few after that, like the next day, that were like horrible. So
Do you still have any of them?
yeah, I have one in the shop actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
the first one. Yeah, I have that example. Yeah, I could actually show you at some
Okay.
point if you're interested. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How'd you get started in glass?
Uh, let's see. I was um really lucky to get an opportunity for an apprenticeship, and I was stupid enough to like follow through with it and stick with the job because it was paying $10 an hour, for like 5 years or something like that. So uh, it was like it was the silly way to put it, but yeah, I got an opportunity to work in a studio that made all their glass on site, and that was on Maui in Lahaina, and it was at the time it was owned by a man named Sean Price, who I'm still friends with, and who else worked there? Jupiter Nielsen, yeah, he's another big mentor of mine. He worked there at the time. Another artist people might be familiar with, John Lindquist. He's also another Maui local. He worked there and he apprenticed with me at the time, and he ended up actually taking over that studio. But basically, I got the opportunity for the apprenticeship and just got like a full, um, hmm, let's see, I wouldn't say a formal education, but like a full time to be on Torch for about six, I'm losing my words. Really good opportunity for a lot of Torch time for about five years. Can we edit that
Yeah, you got it.
out?
What year was that?
That was in 2004.
2004. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure some of those people that you were working with were pretty big influences, but were there other influences at the time when you were starting?
Glass wise, no, I had no idea about glass. I didn't, in fact, I didn't even know about the pipe scene at all. I mean, I was still smoking dubs and I still do, and out of like metal pipes and shit. I didn't really know about glass too much at all. I mean, I knew of glass pipes and stuff, but
Yeah.
the type of work that they were doing at that studio, which was boro work. It was using boro, but it was actually just solid rod. So making, you know, um, small sculpture, ornaments, that kind of thing. Uh, so it wasn't. I had no clue about pipes. For even the time that I worked there for about 5 years. Um, oh shit, I forgot my water. Can we pause it and get water?
Yeah, sure. So we were talking about big influences when you started. You didn't really
Yeah.
know of really any other glass artists. What about like, were you paying attention to things that you saw around Hawaii that were kind of influencing
I
the work you
mean,
were
for
creating?
glass wise, yeah, that was like, I mean, I made sea life sculptures, geckos and turtles and stuff like that were like the main sellers in that gallery. So I mean, that's the kind of thing I would make, mostly fish. So definitely nature around Hawaii, just I guess the lifestyle and just the ambiance of the place were definitely heavy on the work, which I got bored with pretty, I wouldn't say early, but after a couple years, you're just like, well, is this all I can make out of glass? And so I would dabble in other things like in my spare time, or even with the type of designs I was making for the shop, I would like add a little more of this, or try a different technique this way, just try to like spice it up a little bit and make them more unique, make them like the time I was trying to make them like all badass. They all look like some sort of Klingon weapon or something, or like tribally looking, like trying to go for that kind of aesthetic. Um, yeah, I was always trying to change it up pretty much from the get go with the type of work that I was being taught. So yeah, um, yeah. All right, next question.
So the next one, you're already kind of talking about it, but like, where were you first selling your glass? Was it in like gallery places? It sounds like more or less like smoke shops and stuff like
Well,
that.
at first, in it was the gallery that I worked at sold everything on site. So it was a really cool little gallery called Maui Crystal, and this really neat little shopping uh, in Lahaina, Maui, which was like a little shopping. Well, it's a historical. Used to be the capital of Hawaii. Actually, a really sweet little town that no longer there. It burned last year,
Um,
which is really sad. But where were we at? Sorry.
where'd you first sell it? So it was in that
Oh
gallery.
yeah, yeah. Everything was sold on site in the little gallery. So I didn't start initially selling my own work until I kind of reached out on my own, which is I think I worked at that gallery for about 6 years. So not until about 2010 did I start selling to other small galleries on the island, and everything was put on consignment. And it was just kind of a rough start as like an artist, as a crafter, but I was able to kind of get things going here and there. I ended up having side jobs and doing other work at the time, but I was able to kind of continue on selling to little galleries, actually, like gift shops and stuff like that. So it wasn't, you know, for another like 3 or 4 years after that until about 2014, until I started uh, making more pipes and getting them into little head shops on the island.
Yeah, great. Were there certain objects you made at the start that you still make?
Turtles, I like
Yeah.
turtles. I mean, a lot of the sculptural stuff still kind of stems from those designs, some way or form. But fish in some ways, or yeah, a lot of sea life kind of still kind of falls into to the uh, to the wheelhouse of my design. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So we talked about it a bit. I'm going to go a little farther into it. So when you actually got into the pipe scene, what did that scene look like when you were kind of first getting into it?
Oh, it was too much, man. It was glorious. I couldn't understand it. I mean, being on Maui, it's like it's a pretty isolated bubble in its own little art community and its own kind of thing. And there was not even a pipe scene. It hadn't really branched out there too much yet. So there were a couple glass blowers on the island that I knew that kind of like started turning me on, different ideas and stuff. I mean, I would see like Hot Breath magazine stuff going on in there. I mean, this is pre Instagram, so it was pre Facebook. People kind of share their shit a little bit, but there was like a glassartist.org, and which I didn't really have a lot of presence on, but I would check it out every once in a while and kind of see what's going on. I saw that there was like a scene out here, and yeah, the more I came to realize it was pretty big, and it was like really popping. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go check that out. And yeah, I came out to Eugene in 2015, I think, for the first time, and really was blown away uh, by just meeting so many glass blowers in one town. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you feel like inspires your work the most right now?
My bills.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say it like that. That's straight up. But um, the inspiration is. There's. I kind of like dice it into two ways, like the actual aesthetic of what I'm working on and my techniques. That all comes from you guys. The glass blowers that I work around, the people that I work with. What people are interested in. And kind of like the designs that I kind of like want to make. The fun kind of cartoony or uh, characteristic kind of characterized designs. um, you know, so aesthetically, I stems from my surroundings basically, but the intention to work hard is a whole nother thing, and that comes from yeah, necessity, and from uh, the idea that I don't want to do anything else for a career. So just kind of like even when I'm not really feeling like blowing glass, it gives me some sort of inspiration to kind of get my ass back on torch and try to keep that in a non-negative way, because no one likes to blow glass in a bad mood. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. What's your favorite thing to do outside of glass?
I like getting out in nature a lot. I'm not too like avid of like a extreme, I'm not like trying to jump off cliffs or anything like that. But yeah, I like to get out there to check out different spots around the state, as far as my car will let me go within a day trip type of thing. I don't really take like long trips. I really don't have too many major hobbies right now. Been spending most of my time either with or around glass, and that's been pretty much it
Yeah,
for yeah
great.
for a few years now. Yeah.
So, what's your favorite thing to make in glass right now?
I've been having a lot of fun with dragons. A lot of fun with dragons. Year of the Dragon. So that's been something that I've always. That's back to a question you asked earlier. That was one of the first things that I started making. I don't know if you asked that question, but one of the first things that I started making on my own that I would really, really kind of inspired me to like go in different directions, and take it to different different aesthetics, different designs. Anything but sea life, really. So it was like the first thing, and started making these little dragon head pendants. And when I first started on my own, still making those, and they've kind of evolved to what they are now. And still, I'm actually working on one right now. So yeah.
Yeah, they look great.
hmm
What do you hope the scene looks like in 10 years?
The scene looks like in 10 years. It'd be cool if it resonated or resembled something like that was back in 2010, 2000, a decade or so ago. That'd be really cool. It was just a lot more community to it, and um, then everybody was just really interested in, really engaged in it, like 100%. I think that had something to do with the age of the artists that were involved. Everybody was pretty young when the glass scene really started kicking off. So everybody's kind of getting older and more mature and taking their art more seriously, or um, finding ways to evolve with their work. So uh, that same energy as 2010, but like with more of like a realistic approach to the art world, I guess.
Yeah,
We're here, so it's got to evolve somehow. So, right? And I'm excited to see that. Yeah, it's really neat to see all the artists I know whose work constantly evolve. And um, I think that's really really inspiring, actually. Just to see it's like you don't really need to like stay still ever. You can always just like get bored and try something new. And, people enjoy that, I think.
yeah, I do too. What do you feel more glass blowers should be paying attention to?
Mm, um, being nice to each other, maybe. I don't know. Wow, that's kind of harsh. For the most part, I think the community is really solid. I can't think of another art form that's this tight. Because I don't know any other art forms. I'm not involved, but you know, tattoo industry seems kind of fucky. They kind of they're really like clicky, and the music scene is probably a good example of that, of like another art form that is that tight. So staying connected, I'd say, and you know, focus on that. And yeah, I mean, working as like consider yourself like a small business, really, and like really working on your customer, making sure that the people that you sell your glass to are just as stoked as you were making it. So, they kind of like transfer that energy really well, uh, cleanly. Hmm, yeah. I don't know. I get away from the question. I start like going to my own
Yeah, and I'm giving you time because I
fucking.
can tell like that some of it's great, man. I'm loving it. Don't
Okay.
worry about it. Last one too. So it's the last one you got to worry about. What do you hope to accomplish in glass?
Um, I think I've accomplished like I don't know, man. I mean, I really just continuing on. I mean, just keep that ever progressive engagement with it, really, and just really keep that stoke for it, really. I mean, that's what I mean. I don't know where it's gonna go, but just as long as I can open up my kiln and still smile, and that's really what really what I'm excited for. I think, yeah,
Great, man.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, hoping to blow it.
Nah,
All
killed
right.
it.